what happened. Open account transaction. Look at what happened. Exporter ship the goods. Send document to the importer. Importer go to the port. Clear the goods. And what? Pay later. What's the challenge here? Pay later. But remember, 85%, according to ICC, 85% of global trade is on what? And in the morning I said that the reason is because letter of credit is becoming a nuisance to trade transaction. I like that also. The reason is because do you know what letter of credit started? In the Renaissance, 15th, 16th century. Do you know how slow the world was at that time? Let me tell you how slow the world was. For me to complete a trade transaction, I would first of all go to the bank. So let's look at the way it went. First Bank is the first bank in Nigeria. The colonial master were still here then, and they were doing business with us. So a merchant in UK wants to buy palm oil from Nigeria, from Jaga Okobo, who was a major trader with the British. He's going to go to Bank of England. He has £5,000. He's going to give it to the bank. Collect a physical letter, otherwise called a letter of credit. Jump on the ship. Spend months to get to Nigeria. Take that paper to First Bank to collect pounds in cash. Take it to Jaga Okobo to give him, to get the good, and then put it on the ship and go back. That will take me about 6 months. 3, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. Now, that's how letter of credit started. One of the biggest issues of credit today is discrepancy. Discrepancy. We are in a fast-paced world. So traders are asking themselves, why do I need letter of credit? Is it not to protect against risk of not getting paid? So look for alternative now. I will do my open account and then I'll be back home. So look at the way a typical transaction we have today. This importer agree with this exporter to do business. They are going to do $1 million transaction this year. $100,000 per month. Now, this exporter requested for her to give her a $100,000 standard letter of credit or demand guarantee, $100,000. But the agreement they had is how much? $1 million. And they're going to ship $100,000 every month for 10 months. So he will do the first shipment, open account, she will pay. Sorry, she will do the first shipment and she will pay. Second shipment, you pay. Third shipment, you pay. Fourth shipment, you pay. And each of them is average of about 100,000. Anytime she shipped and he didn't pay, you will just call on the guarantee and hold on, waiting for her to reinstate the guarantee before you do the next shipment. That way, it's protected. Both are protected. And they are doing their open account transaction without issues. That's what is driving open account. That's what. So who will be wasting time? If I send document to the bank and then the bank will raise discrepancy, sometimes. I'm sure you are aware of this thing now. Sometimes 1 week, 2 weeks, you are still trying to resolve discrepancy. Yes. Sometimes it could have arrived. The customer is incurring demurrage. Why do we have to do that? You have alternative. It's only if you don't know you have alternative that you still do that. In Nigeria, because we have an open account, what we do in Nigeria is bill for collection. They do that bill for collection tenor, but at the back of that, the rest assured there are guarantees. Only that the guarantee might not be with your bank, might be with another bank in Nigeria. That the importer has issued those guarantee or issue standby, commercial standby, or demand guarantee payment option. If they don't do that, they can't do more volume in a year. Letter of credit is going to slow them down because of discrepancy, and you can't pay to the extent that we have to send documents. See how many people have sent documents? So the real issue is people are moving away from letter of credit, and the usage of guarantee and standby is shooting up by it. It's increasing in global trade. That's why I said before that if you are thinking of future in trade, you are looking at, look, I still want to be a trade person in another 5 to 10 years, within or outside the bank, you must master demand guarantee and standby letter of credit. That is non-negotiable. That means you must know ISP. That's why I was recommending in advance. If you are here, you have spent 5 years in trade, you don't need, and you are in this class, you don't need basic, you don't need intermediate. You can do advanced trade. But if you have spent less than 5 years in trade, I would recommend you do intermediate before you do advanced. Am I making sense? Intermediate, but if you have spent more than 5 years, you can afford to go and do advanced trade. Now, the reason I'm saying that is if you are looking to lend those two instruments, demand guarantee and standby letter of credit. Demand guarantee and alright. Now, open account recommended for use in secure trade relationship and in competitive market to win customer. Do you notice something about that? If you want to enter any market, most buyers are going to ask you for open account. They don't want to pay you and be waiting for goods. They want to ship the goods and they pay you after. Which means you have to find a way to mitigate that risk. Exporter face risk as buyer could default on payment obligation after shipment of goods. Merit boost competitiveness in global market because I can easily get buyers. It can be used to establish and maintain successful trade relationship. Demerit expose significantly to the risk of non-payment. And if you must mitigate that risk, you need a guarantee, so you will incur additional cost to mitigate the risk. Advance payment. What happens in advance payment? Send me the money, then I will ship the goods. After shipping the goods, I will send you documents. Then I will go to the port and clear. By the way, people get advance payment. Something happened recently. A buyer in India sent $15,000 in advance to a Nigerian exporter, and the guy disappears. So I registered on the platform, and the person, my account officer on that platform was the one asking me what they can do, because the buyer was complaining to the platform owners, the organization, that this guy is not responding again, and I'm paying in advance. So the follow-up asked me if I can supply. I said no, because the season is almost over and it's going to begin, so that I would rather do later in the year than because of the time. Then I said, maybe that's the reason why this guy is not responding. That is it that he can't supply? He should return the money if he can't supply now, but they can't reach him. I'm trying to say that buyers are willing to pay in advance if there is what credibility, and I do get advance payment also. Buyers are willing to pay in advance if there is credibility, but they will not pay in advance if you don't trust the buyer. The seller rather. Recommended for use in high-risk relationship or export market like give for internet-based business. So this is what you do on Amazon, AliExpress, and the like. Exporter is exposed to virtually no risk as the burden of risk is placed nearly completely at the disposal of the importer. Merit is that payment is before shipment. It involves elimination of non-payment risk. The demerit may lose customer to competitor if you insist you want advance payment, and there is no additional earning through financing operation. Now, it recommended for use in established relationship and in capital market. Exporter is exposed to more risk as documented collection terms are more convenient for letter of credit and cheaper than letter of credit. Exporter is exposed to risk of not getting paid if the importer becomes insolvent. Bank assistance in obtaining payment is a merit, and the process is simple, fast, and less costly. Simple, fast, and less costly. Demerit. The bank role is limited because the bank does not guarantee payment, and the bank do not verify accuracy of document the way we have it in letter of credit. Now, bill for collection have two principles. Letter of credit have three principles. Guarantee have three principles. Standby have three principles. Bill for collection have how many principles? Two. Look at this. Strictly collection in function with no payment obligation, and strict compliance to collection order. Please note, you see this is dependent on this. Strictly collection in function with no payment obligation is conditioned on strict compliance to what? Collection order. Collection order is like the constitution of the transaction, the law of the transaction, the rule of the transaction, the guiding principle. So you see, some people call it collection order, some people call it coverage schedule, different name they call it, but it contains a set of instructions that guides that transaction. It contains a set of instructions that guides that transaction. Now, a bank has no payment obligation to the extent that the bank has acted in line with the collection order. So let me tell you this story. It happened in your bank many years ago. It was a friend who was in your trade department in the bank. I think it's in Eco Bank. Okay, I still never go back. Tunde, you know Tunde that was telling me this story. How did it happen? There was this importer, Nigerian importer, who is in, I think it was in Aba. Yeah, in Aba. He went to Singapore. He's been doing trade with this particular supply. This particular supply was due for collection 10, I think about 150,000 or thereabout. So he told the supplier to send documents. You know, they would make the agreement, they would give an address where documents will go. In this case, the address that was given was the address of the branch in Aba. He was the area of physical for memory. So he gave that address to the supplier in Singapore and now went to the branch. I told the account officer that, look, I'm expecting a parcel. You know, this area of the market is so disjointed, it's difficult to to locate a particular shop. So I will use the bank. So that means it's my parcel, but it's being care of the bank. So that means the bank, if you come to the bank, then I'll pick it up. So that document came to the bank. The account was aware now, and the name of the customer is on it. So that account officer called him to come and pick up. And he picked up the document. The account officer is oblivious of what is going on. It was, I think, about 120 days transaction, 120 days tenant LC.
Bills?
So tenant bills. So what happened was, he collected that document, he went to open a comment in another, but this is the area where they do a lot of machine out. When you call machine out? Oluwole, no Oluwole. I'm not Oluwole. You know, if you process documents to a level, when you see Oluwole bill of lading, you will know. Without anybody telling you, by feeling it, just by touching it. I'm serious. If you have seen several next line bill of lading, why would you see an Oluwole you will not know? It will be too obvious now. Because you have touched many. So you can, even in your sleep, you can be you can feel the security feature. So they do Oluwole, of course, do Oluwole bill of lading, open a new format in another bank, clear the goods. 120 days time. You know, in trade, particularly people collection, if you receive a document and you kept quiet, it's consent. Silence means consent. Can we say together? Yes. Silence is consent. If you keep quiet, you are saying, I'm okay with it. That's what you are saying. You keep quiet. So because the document came to the bank, nobody will inform. Nobody will inform the what's the name? No, you know, normally if you receive a document on before collection, you send a message. No message, no acceptance, so it's assumed you're okay. When payment was due, the bank started sending tracers, following up on you people, asking for payment. We check our record. No record of this transaction with us. No record. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Then they now send the bill of the the courier waving number. So when they track it, that's why it was developed a branch outside the bank. Of course, the bank dispatched inspectors to go to the branch to go and know what is happening. They go to the branch. First of all, they can't find the document. You know why? Because the customer already told. I don't know. They did. You know, normally you have incoming mirror register, right? They did record it. And because it's supposed to be a bill for the bank, these are innocent. But you know, in the bank, when something like that, someone must go for it, right? So they discovered, no, after I think about 1 or 2 days of searching, asking questions, before they come started went back. That there was a document that came in, what was for the customer. Which document was that? What? You now discover that document was exactly because, of course, detailed stated in the message is the state of the customer that came to pick up document. So it's easier to collect. Is that follow up on this document? They want customer. Today is in Morocco, tomorrow is in Lagos, next tomorrow is in Abuja. Eventually they track him down. And he told the bank to pay. To pay. They will book a loan for him. You know that kind of loan without collateral.
Free money.
I don't know what happened to the transaction at the end of the day, he paid. But now, where I'm going is that when the issue happened, discovered, some people in the bank were saying, we didn't collect documents, so we won't pay. The MD there, or your former MD, no, Latin. No. Latin have to intervene that, no, this is that branch not part of this bank. It's part of the bank. Why would you say you won't pay? The bank has to pay. The bank has to pay. But the lesson here is this. It won't happen to you because you are in the end of this. You will know. If African academics are that, it will make a lot of sense because if you are ignorant. Now, the lesson for me is, number one, if you are a banker, you should even open it first. It came to the bank now. You should open it. Be sure what is inside before you release it. And show one or two people if you don't know what is inside before you release it. But of course, they discover eventually, whoever is in charge, the accountant, there's no ignorant law, right? Is there ignorant law? Someone has to be punished for it. But where I'm going is, now, the lesson here is that the bank paid. Why did the bank pay? The bank paid because strictly collection in function, no obligation, strict compliance collection. The bank did not comply to collection order. That's the. As far as this buyer is concerned, the government came to the bank, we went to branch, we went to head office, so you see the bank. So it doesn't matter where it went to, still the bank. And that's the basis why the bank has to pay. There's another one. This one happened, I think it's Z. These are common in the industry, so I can mention it. It was a bill for collection. Who are those on bill for collection again? Bills.
Shaki.
Raise it up very well. This one is there. Please raise it up very well. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Who is 5? Okay, 5. Please. I'm sure someone would have mentioned this to you. In case nobody has mentioned it. When you receive a draft, otherwise called a bill of exchange, if you see any statement on it called if you see any statement like this, or these are French words, if you see any statement on it like this, it means aval or Paul aval. Paul in French means for, aval means guarantee. Avail. For guarantee, if you see it, please do not process. What do? Send a message back to the buyer and say, we are not avalizing. Shout very well. We are not avalizing. Please send us a revised draft while we held on to the document at our counter while awaiting your feedback. What that word means is that the bank should guarantee the importer payment. The bank can do that, but you only do that after you have given a credit to the customer. And then you have a collateral. So avalization is a process whereby an importer's bank guarantee an accepted bill of exchange. A process whereby an importer's bank guarantee an accepted bill of exchange. Guarantee an accepted. So what they are saying is that if the customer fails to pay, the bank will pay. It's a trade finance instrument in post-export financing. Only that you are not financing this customer, right? Yes. So you shouldn't accept. And remember, silence is. So if you receive it, so this will happen in them. Now, the lady that this happened to, I think the head of trade of one of the banks now, she said, she received this document. She went to show the head of the unit. I received the document, but I can see something on the bottom. I don't know what it means because she was a young banker, and I mean, new in trade. Even the head of unit does not know what it is. So the head of unit also own of that. He doesn't know, but go ahead and process. I don't think it's important. They went ahead and processed with Polaba. Unfortunately, the customer defaulted, did not pay on time. No. Ordinarily, I'm sure you would have processed in the past unknowingly, but the customer paid, so there was no issue. Because it's common. But this one, the customer did not pay. They send a message to the bank. What's happening? You have set a bill of estate, you send it to law. Why is it not being made? And you said you will aval, you will guarantee. He said, no, we didn't do that. He said, check the document now, Paul aval was on it. It is then that they went to check and confirm that what it meant, and they wanted to sack that lady. The unit head said, no, sack me also. In fact, sack all of us. Because we all did not know. If not for that unit head, who later became head of trade for 2 years before retiring. She said, we can't sack that young lady, that she was not aware. She came to ask. Even, he said, train us now so we'll know. That's what saved everybody. But you don't know how God to do that, right? But she was a very strong woman. She insisted. No, but it's unfair now. As if the lady did not ask question or show. You say, okay, it was careless. But she asked question, even the unit does not know. So how do you, well, but there's no, ignorance is a gift now. I hope you know. Ignorance is a gift. It makes you humble to learn. I'm serious. It's ignorance that makes you want to learn. I mean, nobody knows it all. Everybody is learning. So ignorance is a gift. So that the editor does not know it, it's also not an issue because if he has not learned it, he has not learned it. But the bank had to pay and book a loan for the customer. Yes, now. The bank had to pay. Why? Because you are in the business of integrity. So there's some things you don't want to get involved as a bank, that you are defaulting on your obligation. You don't want to get involved in. You can't afford it. Even a nation cannot afford it. And a bank cannot afford it. Because you are going to have issue with a lot of your correspondent bank. In fact, you can't be in banking business again if you are defaulting on your obligation. You are not, I don't want to talk about it. It's too much issues for a bank. So a bank would typically not even want to discuss that issue and fix it. And that was exactly what happened. Now, so bill for collection issue, the second one affecting trade. The first one was supermarket, that's in the brand. But the second one, I'm telling you this story to understand what can go wrong, particularly when you are dealing with things like this.
Watch out for the next part of this training on our YouTube channels, Voice of African Trade or Global Trade College.